A nonprofit organization spends anywhere from 10 to 20 hours a week just figuring out who is showing up to help. By the end of the year, that manual administrative work consumes roughly $7,000 in diverted staff time. Instead of focusing on frontline delivery, coordinators navigate a chaotic system of decentralized spreadsheets, group text messages, physical sign-in sheets, and endless email chains. To solve this, organizations turn to volunteer scheduling software, or VSS. These dedicated digital platforms promise to automate the tedious coordination processes and cut scheduling administration time by up to 60%. But the data shows a different outcome. When organizations roll out these dedicated portals, they routinely see a sharp spike in volunteer dropout within the critical first 30 days of recruitment. This dropout spike highlights a massive friction point. When the fluid, relationship-based motivations of a human volunteer meet the rigid architectures of a database, the resulting clash begins to dismantle the program from the inside out. Volunteers stay with an organization because of multiplex ties, deep, multi-layered social and emotional connections to a single cause and its community. Digital scheduling platforms treat volunteers as transactional units of labor, frequently bypassing these essential social structures. This transactional approach introduces a psychological friction known as degree entropy. This measures how widely a volunteer's connections and time are dispersed across multiple different organizations. This node diagram visualizes what happens when an open digital portal makes it easy to sign up for several distinct charities at once. The volunteer's identity fractures. External recruiters and peer groups within a single organization struggle to understand who the volunteer actually is, leading to a loss of trust and a diminished sense of belonging. This external ambiguity triggers an internal role conflict. The volunteer is suddenly burdened with competing social obligations that fight for their limited time and attention. Because the human connections have been reduced to data points on a screen, the individual experiences intense motivational confusion. They simply stop logging in, silently withdrawing from all the platforms at once. This psychological friction is matched by technical incompatibilities, especially when organizations try to combine these shift schedulers with their main donor tracking databases. We can see the core problem by comparing the two data models side by side. Large-scale customer relationship management databases, or CRMs, are built specifically to track people, wealth indicators, and financial pipelines. Scheduling software is structurally different. It is built strictly around time, logistical capacity, and shift fulfillment. Because a donor-centric architecture does not natively support shift-based capacity rules or real-time event check-ins, automated syncing between the two systems fails. The application programming interfaces, or APIs, actively fight the coordinator, resulting in field-level formatting mismatches and quietly rejected data updates. This system failure leads directly to database degeneration. Volunteers interact with scheduling portals sporadically, so they routinely forget their login credentials and create entirely new profiles with different emails, forcing administrators to constantly merge highly fragmented duplicate records. The cleanup process is often destructive. Many legacy systems use an algorithm based on the date of last activity to execute these merges. If a volunteer's brand new profile is completely blank but has a more recent login date, it overwrites their older profile. The system permanently deletes their entire history of status changes, logged messages, and training milestones. By overwriting these specific records, the algorithm removes the paper trail needed for audits and grant reporting. A volunteer's entire historical legacy is effectively erased to make room for a blank profile. These technical failures are magnified by the demographic realities of legacy volunteering. Nonprofit organizations rely heavily on senior citizens, a group that offers wisdom and consistent availability, but faces specific hurdles when interacting with complex digital scheduling tools. Older individuals frequently encounter physical and cognitive barriers. They are confronted with poor mobile optimization and tiny tap targets, and the high cognitive load of deciphering dense calendar grids across multi-screen portal pages. In response to modern security trends, software vendors introduced an even larger operational barrier to these users: centralized single sign-on, or SSO, systems. This creates a security versus usability paradox. To access their own shift schedules, volunteers are redirected to external authentication portals requiring complex password combinations and multi-step email verifications. Global authentication strips control away from local staff. A coordinator can no longer manually reset a forgotten password or fix a simple typo on behalf of a senior volunteer. If a verification email goes to spam, the user is locked out, trapping the staff member as a manual intermediary forced to file vendor help desk tickets. A security measure explicitly designed to reduce administrative friction ends up increasing the IT support burden on the nonprofit. It prioritizes strict database security while ignoring the physical and technical reality of its end users. If these dedicated scheduling portals are so structurally flawed and incompatible, why do organizations continually trap themselves in them? The root cause is a systemic financial constraint known as the overhead blockade. Philanthropic foundations and corporate donors routinely refuse to fund administrative costs, denying organizations the money needed for premium technology subscriptions or professional development. Without the budget to hire specialized database managers, non-technical volunteer coordinators are forced to configure complex relational databases and automated workflows entirely by trial and error. When an organization purchases scheduling software without investing in the foundational training to build robust screening protocols and accessible roles, the system becomes a compounding liability. Software acts as a logistical support structure. Its effectiveness depends entirely on the strength of the human engagement and the intentional role design that happens outside of the digital portal. Resilient volunteer programs thrive by building flexible ecosystems. Efficiency is found where digital tools are configured to respect and nurture the complex social ties that make service possible. By removing digital friction, organizations free their teams, respect their volunteers, and gain the power to do more good. Start your free trial or schedule a demo today at highbox.co.